Welcome back to another video. Today we are driving my 2001 Ram 3500, and I wanted to answer the question, can you and should you daily drive one of these trucks? Let's go ahead and get into it. So I wanted to answer in this video, can you and should you daily drive 2001 Ram 3500 with 24 valve Cummins? And if you're of sane mind, the answer is no, you should absolutely not. That being said, I do want to go ahead and kind of go over my experiences. I've been daily driving this truck for about two and a half years now, and I want to go over like MPG. I want to go over maintenance costs, fuel costs, obviously, and kind of my thoughts on it. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so right off the bat, if you're looking for something like this because you want to tow and daily drive, I was just getting a 2500, not a 3500. I think it's going to serve you better, and it'll probably be better. However, I love dualies, and I tow it this occasionally, so I do like having the extra stability. So that's why I chose this truck. It also just happened to be the right deal when I got it. So right off the bat with maintenance and miles per gallon. So on average, I have seen about 17 to 18 miles per gallon, just regular highway driving, doing nothing crazy. I'm out in the Midwest, so most of my driving is highway. Get up in the morning, hop on the highway, drive 30 minutes to work, and turn it off, come back at the end of the day, and I get about 17 to 18 miles per gallon. I have slightly oversized tires, which probably doesn't help, but it's 20-year-old 24 valve Cummins, and that's where you're at. So that's about miles per gallon. Towing and city, I see closer to 14, depends on the day. I drove into a pretty strong headwind going up to Michigan a while back, and I saw all the way down as like, I was getting probably 12 miles per gallon, so it's like 40-mile-an-hour headwind. But on most circumstances, they're pretty fuel efficient for a diesel. However, that being said, a modern tuned and deleted diesel of a 6.7 or something is also going to probably average in the 20s. So I wouldn't say that it's limited to just the 24 valve, 12 valve, or 5.9s, common rail type stuff. You're going to get pretty good miles per gallon as long as you're light on the throttle and really just use common sense. All right, so that leads to the next question. So manual or auto? If you want the better reliability, I would highly suggest manual. I have an auto truck, and my trans went out after towing a 10,000-pound trailer. I had a trans leak and a couple other issues, but they're known to be problems. 47 RE. So I have a dynamic stage 2 built trans in this truck now. It ran about $6 grand. I think all in all it came out like 5,500 plus the core charge. And I love it. It drives great. But that's just something to be aware of. I haven't driven a manual version of these trucks, so I'm not sure. But with the VP44, everyone gets all scared because, oh, the VP44 is crap, it's going to break, blah, 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 blah. This truck has 256,000 miles on it. I got it at 221,000 miles, so it's up in age. However, it has a AirDog 165 lift pump on it, and that's the secret. If you get a good lift pump on these trucks, AirDog, fast system, basically anything but stock, you'll be fine. What kills the VP44 is not having enough fuel flow to cool the pump off, or just the pump dying in general with no indicator. I have a fuel pressure gauge, something to monitor what your fuel pressure is. You want it above 14 if possible. Stock, I think, pushes out like 7 to 10. So the overflow valve opens at 14, and that's going, or PSI, and that's going to let it cool off a lot better. So main thing, get an AirDog on this thing, and then there's plenty of videos out there on how to upgrade the transmissions, do your band adjustments, do your fluid changes, and it should be pretty good to you. Now, as for actual maintenance cost, this gets a little fuzzy for me because I bought this truck, I traded it for a $5,000 Avalanche, and had 221,000 miles on it. It was in pretty rough shape. Go check out the playlist on my YouTube channel for seeing what the thing looked like in the beginning. The dash was cracked, everything, like some common issues and some uncommon issues. I had a hard start, and it took a lot of work to get this thing up to where I want it now. For me, it probably cost I did. You can do a couple of maintenance items. Don't worry about paint body. Don't worry about minor upgrades like that. Run as many stock parts as possible, and you'll be at it for way less than that. So that's just my extreme example. But it really comes down to what the previous owners did with your vehicle. So on mine, they were pretty rough on it. I had a lot of work to do. I've seen other clean ones out there in the 10 grand range that I think would cost a fraction of that to keep and have working. Main thing is just doing your oil changes. They recommend full synthetic every 7,000 miles. That's what I do. I haven't had any issues with it. Wicks filters are really good, etc. And you should be fine. It's nothing too crazy. Alright, so a couple limitations and things I do not like about about this generation, the second gen Dodge. I really wish that they had a full crew cab option. I know there are a couple custom ones made out there, but the whole extended cab thing, it's not bad, but it is not great. I'm a 6'6", 230 pounds, and I can fit just fine in the driver's seat. My wife fits just fine in the passenger seat, but using the back seat for anything is a joke. You can put maybe a small child back there, but I wouldn't try fitting a reverse car seat or anything like that by any means. It's a work vehicle is what it comes down to, and not a work vehicle for having a crew. So if you need something that has cab space, I would highly suggest looking somewhere else. Maybe the third gen with the fuller, bigger crew cab, or something else like that. But just that is the one downside I do not like about this truck. Something to be aware of. It's just they just don't have it. And if you're looking for space, well, probably not for you. If you're looking for something that can tow though, and it has a decent size for what you need, probably a good move. The one thing I do like about the extended cab versus the full crew cab and 8-foot bed is that this is, I would say, a normal size truck for modern day, overall lengthwise. So it's not too bad to get into parking lots or maneuver around, whereas some of the 8-foot bed trucks with a full crew cab and pretty long nose these days, you're looking at maneuvering almost a limo length truck, which is not fun. So that is one benefit to an extended cab. But as far as space goes for traveling, get yourself maybe a bed cover like I have, or something like that to be able to enable you to keep your stuff dry and better storage. All right, something to be aware of. Just know this: you're buying a truck that is, well, in my case, 21 years old. The second gen's been around since I think '96. So you have the potential to be getting like a 28-year-old vehicle. My math may be off there, but the point is, even if you get a low mileage one, be aware that you're hopping into an older vehicle. They're a good deal, but they're a good deal for a reason. Nothing's free. So you're either going to pay the bank or you're going to pay the parts store. That's kind of how I look at it. The parts store is generally cheaper if you go through stuff like Rock Auto and do your own work. If you don't do your own work and you're not mechanically inclined, I would avoid a vehicle this old. If you want to learn, that's great. They're a great vehicle to learn on. But just something to keep in mind is don't jump into this vehicle and expect to not have to do anything. There's a lot of work that I've done in this truck. You can see my entire playlist on everything I've had to do. And there's a lot that goes into it. So if you're looking for a vehicle that you can buy, do oil changes on, maybe check the brakes every once in a while, and that's it, probably not the vehicle for you. Unless the previous owner was, like me, extremely meticulous with all the work they're doing, I don't think it's worth it. So that's something to keep in mind if you're looking at these trucks. So on the note of towing, I did want to give you guys a little bit of insight on some of my thoughts. So I think stock, the truck is rated at 14,000 pounds, at least my configuration. Two-wheel drive, 355 gears, what's in the rear of this. So here's my thoughts on that. These trucks can tow a crap ton. And back in the day, they didn't have a standardized way of testing what the vehicle would tow. So it's kind of a crapshoot as to what it will actually do. Now I've heard stories of people saying, oh, I've towed 20,000 pounds, no problem. I've towed 30,000 pounds. I've done all these crazy things. Well, here's my thoughts. So I towed a 10,000 pound enclosed trailer, which is under the rating for what this thing is, under the max. The max is like 14 or 14.5 or something. And towing on flat ground is one thing, but where your tow rating starts to matter is when you get into hills. So imagine yourself towing up a like 10% grade, for instance, which is pretty steep. That's about, it doesn't get much steeper than that when you're on the interstate. But if you're on like 10% grade, for instance, through the mountains, and you have a 15,000 pound trailer on there, can you do stop and go traffic? That's what you got to ask yourself. Can you maintain highway speed, which in that situation I would put around 55 to 60, going up that hill without overheating or messing up your trans? Can you brake if your trailer brakes stop going down a hill like that? So these are all things to take into consideration. With 24-valve Cummins, I think the truck is more than capable, but you need a couple upgrades. Braking wise, I've not felt any issues, but if I was to go heavy, I'd probably do a bigger brake upgrade for the fronts. They're pretty beefy as is, but they could always use a little bit more, especially compared to some of the newer trucks. For the suspension, you probably want to do airbags or add in a leaf or something to the rear to help out there. Farcan 350Z just drove past. And then as far as the frame is concerned, I mean, I haven't never seen any of these things split a frame like some of the newer trucks, but they don't tow as much either. So that's something to keep in mind. I don't really know the answer to that question. Make sure it's rust free is the big deal. Take care of any rust as you see it. But like gearing wise, you can always go up to a 373 or a 410 if you really want to, but you're going to suffer on the highway mileage for sure. Just stuff like that. So be aware. And then power is the last thing. Add some fuel, add some small injectors, 40 to 75 horse injectors, add a slightly bigger turbo or up the boost on your turbo to keep EGTs in check, and you'll start competing power-wise with some of the newer trucks and be able to tow a lot more than what I think it was factory rated at. So there's a great video by Fastlane Trucks, and they do basically how is the new 2020 Ram 3500 tow rated. It's like, what do they actually do? They talk about how they standardize it and all the tests, and I think they're a great source to what all goes into how to, you know, figure out what your truck can tow. So that's my thoughts on the towing aspect. All right, so I'm stuck around this long. That's pretty much everything I got going on that I wanted to go over for daily driving this truck. All in all, great truck, I love it. But you know, there's a couple limitations. So where we're going today is, if you stuck around this long, we're going to go ahead and pick up a car trailer finally. I've been talking about getting one. I don't need a reason to justify this truck. I like to have something to tow around with it. So we're getting a car trailer. It's going to be an open top 18-foot bed, and I think it'll be pretty sweet. Used it mainly for the GT500, and I got a couple of trucks I want to tow a little bit later for a buddy of mine, so I think it'll be a good purchase. So I'm actually off to go pick that up right now. It's asking a pretty good price, so I'm going to go pick it up, bring it back to the house. When we get back to the house, which should be in probably about 6 hours from now, go ahead and give you a quick walk around, and that'll do it for this video. All right, so we just got back from a little escapade, so about 6 hour drive round trip total. And yeah, we picked up a new car hauler, so, well, new to me. So I got it for a pretty good deal in the marketplace. They're going for about $3,500 to $4,000, to be honest. Sometimes you can find them $3,000. This dude just selling this one for $2,300, I think. So went ahead and drove down and picked it up, and here it is. Let's go over it real quick. So nothing crazy. Obviously, it's looking pretty rough, but what matters is the core is solid. So heavy duty. Should be able to do everything I want. 2-inch ball. I want to be able to basically haul the GT500 around. I want track insurance for that, be able to go to events, and then I have a couple other things that I want to be able to do in the near future. Tow other vehicles. I'm thinking about picking up project vehicles, maybe fix some stuff up. Who knows? But regardless, none of that can happen without something to move these things around pretty easily with. So we have obviously had the truck, now we got a trailer. So 18 foot, he had the fenders cut off because he wanted to be able to put trucks on here and needed the extra clearance. I think it looks dumb, and I'm not gonna need it for the GT500 or most of the vehicles I'm looking at. So gonna probably buy some new fenders. They're about 70 bucks. Put those on there, give this thing a new paint job, power wash the deck, seal it with some kind of a deck sealant, And then honestly, that's really it. Probably redo some of the wiring. It has brakes on one axle, and they work. I tested them with my brake controller on the way over here, so good to go. Might get some new style wheels. They're about $150 for a set of 4 that are the nice new style wheels, and really that's about it. So I mean, lights work. I just got to get registered, and she'll look like a sweet trailer. Add some reflective stuff. He gave me the bed sides that I didn't know they were coming with it, but that's sweet. He made some bed sides for it so we can haul around stuff. But yeah, all in all, pretty good. It makes the truck look, it looked pretty dinky in the picture I initially took, but yeah, pretty happy with it. Just a basic car hauler trailer. And then these are where the ramps would go. However, he said he loaded up a tractor and bent both of them, so might fab up a new set of these at some point, or have a buddy of mine help me out with that. But for right now, I don't really care. A slight bend of the ramps isn't gonna hurt anything. Should be fine. So all the lights work and everything like that. Like I said, these are bits of the old fender, so I'm just gonna cut those off, get a new fender, probably do a bolt-on thing so I can remove it if I want to or need to. And yeah, tires are new, bearings are good. None of the bearings got hot over the 3 hours of driving with it. Tandem axle, pretty new leaf springs. So yeah, all in all, pretty happy with this. So that's gonna go and do it for this video. Just a quick little update on going over a couple things, picking up a new trailer, and that'll be a little project down the road. I have some kitchen stuff to do. Obviously, you've been watching the series earlier. We just did the lights, and I have some more stuff to do with that. All the projects, but we'll get there one thing at a time. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.